mascot, Kelly Louise Molesdale. She's out there with Shane Cooper. Big day for this young lady. Talking to her before in the players' tunnel. But a big day for her. There she is, just going up to the halfway line by the centre spot with Shane Cooper. She's 7 years of age, as I said. She comes from Colville Road, up there at Laffock. Well, I think it's up at Laffock, Colville Road. Anyway, that's where she comes from. She attends Merton Bank School. Her hobbies are swimming and dancing. And her favourite player is Gary Connolly. And he's back in action this afternoon after a bit of injury, an injured ankle. The Salford side just coming out now with her mascot, a lady mascot for Salford. I'll just go through the Saints side for you this afternoon. Phil Beavers in the full-back role, in the starting lineup for the first time this season, I think. Hunt, Connolly, McCracken and Sullivan the three-quarters. Rapatian Griffith at half-back. Neil Dwyer and Ward the front three. Nickel, Mann and Cooper the back three, with Farber and Joint on the subs bench. There's young Kelly Louise Molesdale. Big, she comes from a good stock. Mary and Joanne Molesdale all stand just at the back of the sticks there at, near the clubhouse. A big day for this young lady. There she is, just with the referee Russell Smith, and the Salford lady mascot just coming up now as well. The Salford side for this afternoon: Martin Burkitt at fullback, Critchley, Gilfillan, Williams and Ford are the three-quarters. Cruikshank and Coleman the half-back pairing, with Young, Lee and Stasic at the front three. Hanson, Blease and Burgess the back three. Reid and Bradshaw are the substitutes. There's both lady mascots there, just been at the centre spots for the customary toss-up. Both the lady mascots now going down to the clubhouse end, but the Saints mascots, Kelly Louise Molesdale, age 7, big day for this young lady, but there they are, and Kelly wins the race. Just being led over to where all the Molesdale clan gather, just at the back of the sticks there. And we're ready for action, with the Saints playing up to the Eddington for the first half. As I said, it's been a dry morning, but unfortunately we've got a little bit of drizzle now coming down. Let's hope it won't spoil this afternoon's entertainment. Saints with a good win last week, 18 points to 10 at Sheffield. I mean, obviously it's not the rugby that we prefer. We prefer fast, open rugby, but a win's a win, and Sheffield are no duffers, are they? They beat Halifax in the Yorkshire Cup, and then they disposed of Bradford in the Yorkshire Cup after Saints had beat them last Sunday. But anyway, we're ready for action. Saints kick it off. Jason Critchley under it. Ex-Black Brute lad. Signed for witness and come to Salford in an exchange deal. Kevin Ward goes in at the tackling. But there it's Salford now. Shane Hanson. He comes up with the ball just outside the 10-metre mark. When Paul Loughlin was with us last week up at Sheffield, and we was on about these markings, obviously yards I was, but we're in metres now. Unfortunately I'm a pound, shillings and pence bloke, but we're into metres. I suppose it's something we've got to get used to. Phil Beavers taken high there, allegedly taken high by Ian Blease. Beavers coming through, an awkward bouncing ball, took it well, came up. Blease adjudged to have fouled him. And Saints with the first penalty, and we've just had, what, 50 seconds of play. With Bernard Dwyer to restart, as ever. Just about 10 yards inside the Salford half. Solid tackling on the far side. Taking the Saints player, well, nearly out of play. Dwyer again, and Saints bring it inside. George Mann in the second row. Bernard Dwyer brings it inside, and Kevin Ward blockbusting through. Beavers is up into port, and Ward still going. Inside the 20-metre area. Saints got to put the cosh down. Griffiths, change of direction, feeds it inside to Cooper, onto Sonny Nickel, into space. Nickel driving forward, out of the tackle. Bernard Dwyer inside, he can't release it, can Sonny Nickel. But it's Saints on the charge now. Alan Hunt looming round, gives the dummy, drives it up. He's brought down 10 yards centre field. Sixth and final tackle of this sequence. Now with Griffiths, sees the gap, gives it up to Rapati, but it's ruled forward. But Saints putting it together on the sixth shuttle. The final pass from Griffiths to Rapati, ruled forward. But Griffiths made the space, Rapati come up, and it's the changeover. Excitement in the early minutes. Saints penalised, not lining up at the play of the ball, I think is the indication. No offside, I beg your pardon. Offside, and Salford have the penalty. A fine touch, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Mark Lee, ex-St Helens hooker, captain of the A team when he was at St Helens, limited first team appearances. But referee Smith quickly in. Kevin Ward penalised this time. Well, we must mention that a good friend of mine, he always has got a good word to say about me, Fred Lindop, the referee's assessor. He is here this afternoon. Well, that kick going astray and Peeves coming away with it. Peeves brings the ball up, support from the Saints. Bernard Dwyer brings it forward. Just as I was saying about Fred Lindop being here, the referee's assessor, whether Russell Smith knows he's here, I don't know. It may have come together and he's just trying to give a good impression of himself, or a good account of himself. George Mann on the right side, onto Sullivan. Goes round the outside and forced it to touch. Just tried to give Craig Coleman the dummy there. But this South Sydney campaigner Coleman, Sullivan went inside just to give himself a bit of space, then tried to take Coleman on the outside. He couldn't but get past him. But good spade work there from George Mann right in front of us. The referee Smith just telling the teams what he expects of them. There's no danger, he knows that Fred's here. But it's Salford that have possession from the scrum. Coleman at dummy half. David Young, big Welsh prop, came from the Leeds club. And it's Salford again, spreading it, or trying to spread it. Mark Lee trying to get things going. Salford coached by Kevin Tamati, an excellent forward in his time, Tamati. A fiery character, played with Warrington and Widnes. Coleman now, tactical kicking. Takes the ball downfield and it finds touch 10 yards from the Saints line. Scrum down with the Saints feed now. 5 minutes of the game gone. No score at present. But Saints doing quite a lot of pressing in the Salford 20-metre area. We're down now 10 yards from the Saints line. Griffiths to feed, Saints have possession. Griffiths comes away with it. Good attacking play from Jonathan Griffiths. Strong there, and George Mann comes onto it. Unfortunately, George last week he looked a bit lax at Sheffield. We know that George can do the stuff, but he just hasn't been running hard. We didn't know whether he still had an injury. He did pick up a back injury, but the loose pass there, and Salford come away with it. Phil Ford snaps up the loose ball. Salford on the attack now. David Young comes onto that short ball from Craig Coleman. Well, Salford there nearly making a hash of it. It went back. Mark Lee it was. It went back, said referee Smith. Stazika attacked in half-back. Coleman trying to get things moving. And it's Coleman and Cruikshank that are going to have to be watched. This lively Australian purring. Well, a loose ball there, Saints. Kick it forward. Anthony Sullivan. Can he hack it on again? Yes, Sullivan's going up for the line. He's going to score. Yes, Sullivan touches down under the sticks. Well, Saints on the board. 4 points to nil, and it's going to be 6. There's no danger. They're not missed from under the sticks. Bernard Dwyer, I think, is going to take the goal kick this afternoon. But Saints losing the ball in their own 20-metre area. Salford bring it over to the right, and then they lost composure. The ball was passed back. It wasn't. It went to nobody. Sullivan, quick as a flash, shot through, kicked it upfield. He managed to kick it again, and there was no danger. He won the chase for the line. Touchdown right under the sticks, and Bernard Dwyer's going to have the extra 2 points on and put Saints in a 6-0 lead. Bernard Dwyer pops it over, no problem. 6-0, and Saints well on the way. Tony Sullivan there, his third try of the season, and Bernard Dwyer's second goal. A lot of difficulty last week at Sheffield with the goal kicking attempts, and Paul Loughlin with me that day, and he was saying that he'd been coaching Rapati and Bernard Dwyer, but obviously Aston, he was off target as well at Sheffield. A difficult stadium for kicking them, but no problem there, right under the sticks, and the Saints in a 6-0 lead. Dwyer again attacking half-back. John Neal gets the ball away. Oh, excellent play. Well, what's the man on about? The ball going back all the time, never touching the ground. Well, Shane Cooper shakes his head, and why shouldn't he? No knock on there, the ball going back. Scrum down with a Salford feed. Well, as I said, we've had 8 minutes and they were certainly up against it. Jason Critchley coming onto the ball. Plays on the wing here for Salford. But he's been in the second row for Widnes. Excellent competitor. Strong lad, I said local lad. Good pal of Gary Connolly's, but there'll be nothing there. Well, Kevin Ward being pulled out again as a high tackle on David Young, and Kevin Ward telling that David Young came through with an elbow on Kevin before that tackle was effected, or it's gone up off his arm as they carry the ball high, these forwards, and you come in for the tackle, you slip off the arm and it goes high. But as I said, referee Russell Smith there, he'll be keen to impress, and Mr. Lindhoff is in the stand. We just have a little bit of difficulty later with our broadcast, as you know, or you will know, that this has been broadcast by BSB. It's out on the telly on the Sunday evening at 10 o'clock, and we've limited room. We're at the far right on the halfway line. We should have a good spec, but if there's any problem in the corners, obviously circumstances beyond our control. Burkitt lined it up. It puts Salford on the board. 10 minutes of the game gone. 6-2 in Saints' favour, with that Burkitt penalty goal putting Salford back in the game. Usually a centre is Martin Burkitt. Steve Gibson out injured, and Burkitt, this Cumbrian, in the full-back role. Shouldn't miss them. Any decent goal kicker worth his salt shouldn't miss them, should they? Saints the only unbeaten side before this afternoon's clash in the Stone Bitter Championship table. From the kick-off, Salford bring the ball forward. David Young again. I think it's David Young, but George Mann quickly. No, I beg your pardon, it's loose forward. Andy Burgess. But Salford have the ball possession. Well, referee there lining the Saints out, and the ball coming back for the kick downfield. Beavers takes it on the run. Alan Hunt's been at the full-back position. David Lyon was hoping to make his debut today since his £90,000 signing from Warrington. He's picked up a hamstring injury in training, unavailable to play. Good ball from Ward onto Nicol. Excellent competitor, this Ward. You've got to follow him at all time. But Salford there, well, Dwyer going through it. Salford not onside, but Saints putting on the attack again. They're looking hungry this afternoon. Rapati, oh, into space. Oh, just as it opened up, it was closed down. McCracken and Hunt on the far side there. Lofted ball. Pressure for Critchley. Takes it well. Salford bringing it blindside. Saints will have to cover up quickly, they do so. Well, loose play, well, he's had a knock on. Well, looks as though it went back to me, but the referee's give a knock on. And as I've often said before, we shouldn't complain as long as he's doing the same for both sides. But it's a chance now for Saints to put pressure on Salford. 10 yards from the Salford line. Should be Saints' ball feed. It is. Hand heel. Griffiths and Rapati. Griffiths going. Well, the ball's not back. It's offside. That's an offside decision. It's a penalty to the Saints. I'm sure they'll go for goal to give the 6-point lead back again. But Saints, they're doing the run around there. Rapati and Griffiths quickly moving it to move it out. A Salford hand got to the ball. It was knocked down, and a Salford man picked it up in front of the player that had knocked it down. That constitutes a offside decision, which was given by referee Smith. And it's a chance for Bernard Dwyer to get his second on the board this afternoon. 13 minutes of the game gone, 6 points to 2 the score. And left-footed kicker Dwyer. Remember, season before last, I think it was, he kicked 12 in the Lancashire Cup game. But to Dwyer there, no problem. Pops it over. 13 minutes gone. Dwyer with his second goal of the afternoon. And Saints back with a 6-point cushion. A lead of 8 points to 2. A great win last week at Salford over Halifax. 27 points to 22. No mean side Halifax, but Salford capitalised on their mistakes. A really tight game, 18 points apiece at one stage, and Salford came away with the 2 points. Coleman got a couple of tries there, and he'll have to be watched this afternoon. Gary Connolly there, back in action after that ankle injury. Sonny Nicol pushing the defenders off, and this is the Nicol that we know, isn't it? Let's hope he can keep it up. Bernard Dwyer onto John Neal over the 20-metre mark. Solid tackling from Salford, but Shane Cooper getting him going now. It's Kevin Ward. Turns, or tries to turn in the tackle. Can't release it, but Ward always keen to get things going. Cooper stepping away. Finally brought to a halt. Griffiths back to Beavers. The kick upfield. Mark Lee tries to close him down, but it goes over the top of Martin Burkitt, forces him to turn. The ball going to run dead. It is. Salford will restart with a tap from the centre of the 20-metre line, as indicated there by referee Smith. Here's Coleman with a couple of tries, and Burkitt and Critchley as well. 5 Burkitt goals and a Mark Lee drop goal last week. And certainly Saints will have to contain this half-back partnership, Cruikshank and Coleman. They've got Coleman as a leader, and Kevin Tamati on the radio today says that that's what they've been lacking, a leader. Well, the high tackle again, certainly not much crowd action there, or not much crowd noise there for the tackle. I think it was only probably referee Smith that saw that, but he's keen to stamp it out. I suppose there is a directive this season for stamp anything out above the shoulder, but it's not always easy. But it's Salford with the penalty. 4-2, I make it. And George Mann in with the tackle on Shane Hansen. Coleman now, short ball to David Young. He gets the ball away to Mark Lee, and Salford are moving it. Solid tackling again, Kevin Ward, second man in. Sonny Nicol there, he clamped his man, clamped the Salford player. Now with Cruikshank, excellent tackling again, John Griffiths. Coleman, Salford along the line. Blees turned it in field. Coleman again, on to Stazika. Calls for a forward pass from the popular side faithful. Mark Lee, the ball's kicked through, is it going to go dead? It is. Phil Beavers lets it go dead. Bernard Dwyer onto Tia Rapati from the 25. Rapati's up the middle, inside Boulder to Alan Hunt. He's slipping, but he's on his way, and he's going behind the sticks. Superb try for the Saints. a superb try, and that's about catching the opposition cold, isn't it? Salford putting pressure on the Saints. The ball was kicked dead. Phil Beavers, quick as a flash, up to the halfway, up to the 20-metre mark, I should say. Bernard Dwyer played it quickly. Rapati coming through, up pace, broke through the tackling. Alan Hunt on hand to take the ball. He was stumbling, but he kept his feet and he outpaced the defence. Excellent try. Another killer blow against Salford this afternoon. Bernard Dwyer looking for his third. 12 points to 2 the score. Dwyer there, no problem. 14-2 the score, and this is the rugby that we know the Saints can produce, but you can only play as well as the opposition will let you. You've got to take your chances, and Saints moved in quickly and made Salford pay for that little lapse of concentration and not getting back quick enough. (14-2), we're talking 18 minutes on the clock. Beavers takes the ball up from the kick-off, and the Saints certainly look hungry for it this afternoon, don't they? And what a build-up before Wednesday's clash with Widnes in the Lancashire Cup second round. A game delayed from last Wednesday, obviously because the Wigan and Widnes tie on the Sky Sports. And that's the tie that should have been cancelled, not the Saints match that should have been on this Friday. But Wigan ruling the roost again, that shows you, doesn't it? George Mann up the touchline. Dwyer inside to Shane Cooper. 3 Salford tacklers go to bring him down. Last tackle of this sequence. It's John Griffiths. Kicks it up centre field, but it's right down Burkitt's throat. Saints reception committee meeting. Nicol and Dwyer, they bring him to a halt. Saints urged to get back on side. And Salford now moving it away. Mark Lee. Well, Saints penalised this time for offside, I should say. There's the indication by Mr. Smith. Well, a high kick, just finding touch 5 yards or 5 metres or whatever you want to call it. Stazika taking the ball upfield. Nicol again, he's got through a tremendous amount of tackling so far as Sonny Nicol. Short ball again from Cruikshank to Hansen. Now the ball's loose. Well, it must be a knock-on. First knock-on by Salford. Yes, 2 knock-ons indicated there, but it's scrummed down with a Saints feed. It should be, as indicated there by the referee. John Griffiths to feed. Saints getting scrum possession, moving it quickly. Griffiths again. Looks very sharp round the base of this scrum, does John Griffiths, but didn't like the tackle there of Peter Williams. Saints spreading the direction. He's now with Nicol. Through the tackle, inside. Well, McCracken couldn't take it. The ball's been knocked forward. Well, McCracken didn't knock it forward. He's saying that McCracken did, but he lost the ball. It was tipped up. The Salford man knocked it forward. He couldn't gather it. He gave a scrum down with the Salford feed, and in my unbiased opinion, that's a wrong decision. Coleman wins the scrum possession for Salford. I beg your pardon, Gil Fillen it is coming through. I thought it was Burkitt coming through from the full-back, but it's Gil Fillen. It's Salford in possession. Coleman, the ball knocked back. David Young pushes off the first, well, a forward pass there onto Blaze. Yes, and the referee's picked it up, and it must have been a yard forward. Well, he picked that one up, but Young went through there and pushed Bernard Dwyer, of all people, usually most safest of tacklers, but it's not so often. But just obviously taken on an angle. Saints with scrum possession. Griffiths onto Rapati. Rapati very strong, just couldn't shake the tackle off there. Beavers attacked in half back onto Cooper. Looks the part this afternoon, does Cooper. Saints captain, he leads by example, and he'll have them all fired up. John Neal gets the ball away to Dwyer. Mark Lee brings him down, round the top. Stasica was round the bottom, now it's George Mann to Beavers. Yes, he did well there, did Phil Beavers. Awkward ball, just a mix-up in the Saints ranks. Cooper again. Kevin Ward, he straightens it up, looking for support. Well, Cooper taking, well, he's waved the tackle count clean. Dwyer's up the middle. Yes, the tackle count back to 1. Cooper was taken on suspicion there, and it's Ward leading the charge. Midway between the 20-metre mark and the halfway line. Griffiths on to Neal. In with a shoulder. Oh, excellent ball handling. On to Connolly. Inside to Cooper. Nickel up the middle. Centre field and Saints putting it together. 23 minutes of the game gone and has not gone quick. Beavers, George Mann. Short ball to McCracken. Inside to Connolly. Yes, he's out of the tackle. 5 yards short. 5 metres short or whatever. George Mann, Saints spreading it. Cooper dribbles it through. Well, it looks a little knock on that. The referee looking to the touch judge, but he's not getting any indication. But Saints putting Salford under a lot of pressure. They're going to keep him in that area, but it's forward. He's on a aerobic commission, but McCracken wallops him to the ground. Stasica now. Well, that's 4 tackles, I think, and Salford have hardly moved. And that's the way the Saints have got to do. Put the pressure on them. Pressure rugby in the Salford 10-metre mark, yes. The 6th tackle coming up. Saints urge to get back on side. Lofted kick, and this should put Saints in an attacking position. Alan Hunt, he'll have to be sharp. The kicker there, Burkitt, followed it up and put Hunt down. But Beavers quickly up at dummy half, on to Connolly. On to Sullivan. Well, Sullivan's lost the ball. Salford have possession. It's still thrown out. But a knock on indicated, a knock on both sides. It must be a safe speed. Salford had the ball, surely. No, wrong again. Coleman to feed. Both sets of forwards pushing. Salford with scrum possession. Gilfillan out of the tackle. Still going, but Nickel and Dwyer wrapped him up. Coleman, inside ball to Blease. Came on the opposite diagonal, but there was nothing for him. Cooper and Ward had read it. Also Bernard Dwyer, and they forced him back 5 metres. Mark Lee, going to bring it blindside. Well, he's on to Coleman, now Gilfillan. Well wrapped up, Nickel again. He's got through a tremendous amount of tackling as Nickel. Stasica. Inside to Coleman, like hot potato, he gets shut of it. Cruikshank has it. Quickly closed down, is the ball loose? Well, it's going to be a knock on. Burkitt comes up with it, but excellent tackling on Cruikshank. A scrum down with the Saints speed. John Griffiths brings it away, Saints to bring it blindside. Rapati looking strong, breaks out of the tackle. Tremendous strength off this man. Now it's George Mann. Up straight, pushes Ian Blease off. Shane Hansen completes the tackle. Dwyer onto John Neal. Well, Mark Lee going in a little aggressive there, but the touch judge and the referee didn't pick it out. Kevin Ward looking for support. Cooper's there. Overlap on the opposite side for the Saints. On the right side. But good cover tackling there. Phil Ford, veteran campaigner. He comes in. Cooper with a chip kick through for Alan Hunt. A favourable bounce. No, it goes into touch. Very unlucky there. Astute tactics for Shane Cooper. Well, Salford making a substitute now. Number 11, Shane Hansen coming off, taking a knock, and Arthur Bradshaw will be going on. Arthur Bradshaw, St Helens lad, that's a weak lad. Unfortunately, as far as he's concerned, he's been on the subs bench for the last few matches. But he's a good, hard player. With the scrum coming out Salford side, or the ball coming out Salford side, I should say. The referee's not happy with it. Coleman feeds it. Salford have possession. Saints regroup. Cooper and Beavers. Beavers, excellent attacking full-back. Andy Burgess, a loose forward. Brought down by Nickel and George Mann. Stazika running through. Another good young signing from Wigan, Stazika, along with John Gilfillan. Coleman looking for the gap, quickly bounced down. Nickel and Neil, last tackle of this sequence for Salford. Let's see what tactics they can employ. Well, those are pretty poor, aren't they? But Burkitt, well, it's not Sonny Nickel had him, but now Burkitt grubbers it to touch. Tony Sullivan will have to come infield. No room on the outside for him, but just brought down on the 20-metre line. Beavers at dummy half. Shane Cooper running strong. John Neal again. As I said last week, John Neal is playing excellently. Going in with the shoulder, taking the tackle, releasing the ball. And we saw nearly lost him to Salford. But it's John Griffiths up the middle. Dwyer. Oh, Dwyer just going to pass it inside to Gary Connolly. And he knocked it forward, unfortunately. But some excellent rugby there from the Saints. And well applauded by this pretty decent crowd here this afternoon. You're looking for a 10,000 plus gate, and there certainly looks a lot of bodies here at Nosey Road. As I said, it's been drizzling. It keeps drizzling intermittently, but a lot out in the opener. Arthur Bradshaw brought down on the halfway line. Coleman attacked in half-back. Nearly half an hour gone, 14 points to 2 the score. Cruikshank there, looking to release. Good clamp tackling this time. Rapati and George Mann quickly in. Now it's David Young. Well, excellent attack, but that's Gary Connolly. Oh, there's no messing about with Connolly, is there? In with the shoulder and bounces the man down. Well, a deflection. Coleman tried to get it through. Sonny Nickel takes the ball. Must be very slippy underfoot. Nickel made sure. Saints have possession. Beavers from acting halfback. He has to take the tackle. He's still going forward. Bernard Dwyer onto George Mann, running out wide. Salford urged to get back onside as Dwyer takes it up the blind side. Well, put in a lot of work this afternoon as Dwyer, and Salford penalised for a high tackle. Obviously picked out on the far side. Didn't look anything in it from here, but we are at the opposite side of the ground. But referee Smith is certainly imposing himself on this game. And Saints with another platform now to build up. John Neal. Well, he's still going, is John Neal. Takes 3 to bring him down, and he gets a forearm smash off Mark Lee for his pains. Kevin Ward. Oh, bursting through. Support! Well, he's looking for support, is Ward. Rapati tidying it up. It's on to Hunt. Yes! It must be a try. It's Doug, yes. Excellent try. An excellent try finished off by Alan Hunt. But Saints attacking Fleur coming to the fore there. And who made that try? Only Kevin Ward. Excellent play from this fella. You've got to follow Ward at all times. He's the man that bursts through, releases the ball. He went through the first line of defence from Salford, released it to the right. Alan Hunt took the final pass. There was a couple of Salford bodies with him, but he touched it down, no problem. Only, as you can see, inches in from the corner flag. 18 points to 2. And the popular side, well, there it is. Kevin Ward acknowledges the cheers from the popular side faithful. and no doubt all the St Helens faithful round the ground. Salford looking to make another substitution. Wayne Reid coming on. Well, the goal kick waved away. Difficult attempt there, but 18 points to 2. Kevin Tamati up there at the back of the sticks there, the Salford coach. As you know, he likes an elevated position, pardon the expression, don't we all? But he's up there at the back of the sticks and in touch with Terry Cassidy, his second in command, via the walkie-talkie, just as our own coach, Mike McLennan, does with the second in command, Frankie Barrett. But Salford have made the substitution. Wayne Reid has come on. And Saints are in possession in an 18-point-to-2 lead. Well, George Mann trying to get up, just being held down. Salford move up quickly. Bernard Dwyer breaks through again, gives it to McCracken. Yes, McCracken's on his way. He's got the fullback to beat. As Jason Critchley comes in as well. Well, it's Cruikshank as well, I beg your pardon. Cruikshank that tidied him up there along with Jason Critchley. I think it's Burkitt that may have gone off. I just didn't know which Salford man had gone off, but Cruikshank has gone to full-back. But it's Kevin Ward again. He's running rampant, isn't he? Sixth and final tackle of this sequence. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a go for drop. No, they're going to run it. Rapati onto George Mann, couldn't take it. It's going to be the turnover. And 10 yards from the Salford line. But McCracken there took it well. Strong lad, but excellent tackling by Salford. But it's Peter Williams that's come off. Obviously Burkitt gone into the centre. David Cruikshank to full back. Saints penalised for offside and Burkitt steps up. 6-3, the penalties in Salford favour, I make it, whether I've missed an odd one or two, because there certainly has been a lot. But not as many as at Barrow the other week. 22 in the first half, 11 each. David Young up centre field, looking to release it. George Mann, Kevin Ward. They halt his progress. But Wayne Reid flicking it over to the left. Burkitt on to Phil Ford. Evades the first line of defence, but he gets the ball away. And Salford keeping it going. Ian Blease looking for support, and Connolly again upends him. Superb tackling by Gary Connolly. A hallmark of his play, that. Well, Burgess breaking through. Saints just have to tighten up there. 10 yards from their own line. Salford in possession. They're taking it blind. It's Coleman holding the ball up, looking for to draw the man. Only about a yard short of the Saints line, and Salford in possession. The last tackle of this sequence. Ian Blease running forward. He's lost it. Cooper tidies it up. It was on the sixth tackle, so the turnover is indicated there, and Salford, well, they was offside there, weren't they? Tirapati looking for space, he's found it, he's driving up, McCracken's with him. Oh dear me, Saints were lining up, but Rapati's still going. Out to Sullivan now. Sullivan into space. Oh, superb. Can he make it? Yes, he did. Oh, excellent try. Excellent try, one out to the top drawer there, but it nearly went to begging, didn't it? Rapati carving a big hole in the Salford defence. He drove it up. It's McCracken and Sullivan on his outside with a clear run to the line. He chose to give the dummy. We thought all was dead. He broke out of the tackle, powered his way upfield, gave it to Sullivan. He sidestepped inside and then went for the line. Excellent try. Just brought down short, but he wasn't held. He got up and touched down. Superb try, and that'll do a lot for his confidence, because he's not been putting it together as we know he can do in the last few weeks. But that was excellently finished there. Bernard Dwyer with another attempt. 22 points to 2 the score with 3 minutes of the half to go. And what a game, eh? Exciting or what? Bernard Dwyer now, left-footed kicker, looking to add the extras. Well, allows too much this time, unfortunately. 22-2 the score, 3 minutes before the interval. An excellent display of rugby by the Saints. I'm sure today's match day mascot, Kelly Louise Molesdale and her crew, the mighty Molesdale clan, at the back of the sticks, or just to the right of the sticks there. They'll be very pleased with Saints' performance this afternoon, as will all the Saints spectators. Gary Connolly takes it up just over the 20-metre mark. Alan Hunt from acting half, quickly dispatched to the earth. Well, Salford all offside on the referee. Smith's right. He didn't pick him up, but George Mann tries to break through. Burgess and Bradshaw quickly into the tackle. Griffiths sees the gap. Unlucky there, Griffiths. Well taken by Andy Burgess. But Saints keep it going. Good running from Kevin Ward. Excellent running. Round the man to Dwyer. Inside to Nicholl. Oh, dearie me. Nicholl couldn't take it. And yet I think if the ball had gone to the right, Saints had a touchdown right under the sticks. But excellent rugby from the Saints. 2 or 3 men at either side there as the Saints were attacking. Wayne Reid onto Burkitt, nobody on his outside. Phil Ford on a roving commission, and he wasn't in position then. But Salford take it blindside. Ian Blease throws it anywhere. Coleman has it. Another inside ball to Cruikshank. Gets it away to Bradshaw. Salford keep it moving. Well, it's a loose ball here. Griffith tacks it forward. McCracken's on his way. He gathers it down as McCracken. He's going to make it in the corner. Yes! Jared McCracken with his second of the season. And that was another one that... loose play by Salford. It was kicked upfield. McCracken tried to hack it on. He just caught the side of his boot. All looked dead. Then he picked it up and powered his way into the corner. He'll be pleased with that. And it all goes down as if you get the rub of the green, the bounce of the ball. It's going right for the Saints this afternoon. McCracken gives the thumbs up to the popular side. And 26 points to 2 is the score. Tia Rapati having a go this time at the goal-kicking conversion. Playing in stoppage time now. What excellent display from the Saints. 5 tries in this first half. Two goals from Bernard Dwyer. (26-2) at present. Rapati, no, he's just as successful as Bernard. There's the half-time hooter. Well, 3 goals from Bernard Dwyer, I do beg your pardon. For a 5 try and 5-star performance from the Saints in this first half. Tries from Sullivan twice, Hunt twice, Jared McCracken there right at the death. 3 Dwyer goals, 26-2 the half-time score, and I'm sure Mike McLennan will be pleased with that first half performance. And now the mighty have fallen. Salford on a high after last week's win over Halifax, 27-22. But they come down with a bang this afternoon, and we can only look forward to another pulsating 40 minutes after the break. We've had about 20 minutes break. I don't know why it's not live on Sky, but Salford first out, 26 points to 2. Saints are in the lead at half time. Have a belated birthday greeting for last Wednesday, I do believe, to Brian Slater. Yes, you, Brian Slater, it's your turn to get the ale in. I know you're an ardent Saints fan, and I've been told that you're 56 years young. Now, whether that was last Wednesday or what, I don't know, but I don't think you look it, Brian. Greetings for this mention from Paul and Graham. They tell me everybody knows you're as bald as a coot under that baseball cap. But you take the notice, Brian, you keep going. And one consolation out, love, only 9 years to your pension. Oh, Brian Slater, 56 years young last Wednesday. Best wishes from Paul and Graham, and also your Saints video team. So Saints last season, they went 7 games unbeaten, then they were beaten 26-6 at Trumhall, but they bounced back the following Wednesday in the Lancashire Cup against Wigan here, the old pie eaters here at Nosey Road. But we was only defeated twice last season at home, both by Wigan in the Challenge Cup, 13-6, and in the league, the last league game of the season, 16 points to 6. And we're here next Wednesday against Widnes in the Lancashire Cup second round, and hopefully when we beat the pants out of Widnes this Wednesday, we've got Salford in the semi-final the following Wednesday. It's Salford in possession. Kevin Tamati will have read them the riot act at half-time, I would imagine. Mike McLennan, he'll have give the Saints a bit to think about, even though they're 26 points to 2 in command. Kevin Ward running rampant in the first half. Coleman, it's charged down. Cooper picks it up. Well, what's up with that? That's a charge down. He's given an offside decision. Well, surely the man should have blown up straight away, but whether he was playing for an advantage or not, I don't know. No, he's not given a penalty. He's given a knock-on. Well, wrong decision in my opinion, as that was charged down, but it did not make any difference. Salford have the ball from the scrum. Blease trying to unload. Burgess was with him. Martley attacking half-back. Coleman trying to go on his own. Cooper and George Mann wrap him up. Lee again attacking half-back for Salford. Now with Stazika, back to Lee. The ball's loose, Coleman has it. Well, it looks as though it could come back to us, but the referee saying it was knocked forward, even though Coleman had picked it up. John Griffith is going to feed this scrum. Saints have ball possession. Griffiths picks it up and leads into space. Down the middle is Griffiths. Can't evade the clutches of Phil Ford, but Sonny Nicol now, he takes it over the centre field. Well, Rapati put his hands up. The movement was going over to the left. Rapati put his hands up to say that he wasn't involved in the movement, but it didn't hold any water with referee Smith. Salford have the penalty. And Saints without quite a few injured players. Obviously David Lyon, the hamstring, Gus O'Donnell still out with a thumb. Les Quirk, whether he's taken a knock or just not chosen in the squad today. Paul Loughlin still out. John Harrison with a back injury. But Salford have possession. Blease throws it inside. Burgess has it. Knock on. Given by referee Smith with just a little help from the popular side faithful just below us. Not as referee Smith would be intimidated by any cry from the Saints supporters, but it's John Griffiths to feed. Inside ball to Rapati, looking strong. It's back to Connolly, and he's going crossfield, making a little bit of space. He's got it. Quickly closed down there. David Young and Arthur Bradshaw wrap him up. Now Cooper moves to the left, takes the tackle. Dwyer again, on to John Neal, running strong is John Neal. 15-metre burst there, and a Salford player's taking a knock. Now it's George Mann up the middle. And that Salford player looks certainly in a lot of discomfort. Kevin Ward, he's running rampant this afternoon, you can't hold the man down. Dwyer was there, he just couldn't take it. Ward had the peace of mind to hold on to it. Now with John Griffiths on the last tackle. Hunt, well played, yes, Hunt, oh, just on the line. Well, he's saying that Hunt was offside, and there's no way that Alan Hunt was offside there. Well, a poor bit of refereeing by referee Smith. As I've said before, a lot of these fellas could be done under the Trade Descriptions Act, but he wasn't following the game there. A perfectly executed kick by John Griffiths, well taken by Alan Hunt, and he was adjudged as offside. Stasiker from a standing start. George Mann wraps him up. Burgess inside to David Young. Well, Kevin Ward wraps him up, man and ball, and he's saying that the tackle's high again. And Mark Lee obviously saying something to Kevin, and Kevin just telling him what he thinks of that decision. A high tackle indicated. Salford with the penalty. 4 penalties in the opening 5 minutes of the second half. Stasiker as first receiver. John Neal grits his teeth, shoulder charges him. George Mann heavily involved in the action as well. Saints urge to get back on side, but it's David Young. But the ball's released. Salford playing it quickly. Cruikshank onto it. Support from Coleman. And Salford capitalising on perhaps loose Saints play. But the tackle count waved clean there, is it? Another ball on the ground, and the referee looks as though he's wiped the slate clean. Well, he certainly has, but I didn't see it touch a Saints player. Excellent tackling again, Kevin Ward. Nothing wrong with that on Arthur Bradshaw. Coleman going for the line. He's in. He's scampered in. Well, the Saints faithful not happy with that. The tackle count was waved clean. The tackle count was waved clean, and from the ensuing play, Coleman, quite lively in the 10-metre area, managed to wriggle his way over just to the right of the sticks. Bring the score to 26 points to 6, and Burkitt to convert. 7. So it's Burkitt looking to add the extra points on. He shouldn't have any problem from that distance. He converts the Coleman try. Salford first on the board in this second half. 26 points to 8 the score now as the sun comes out. Last season, Saints completed the double over Salford. 25 points to 16 here at Nosey Road, and 15 points to 6 over at the Willows. Always a difficult side, especially on their own mid in Salford. A blood bin replacement. Phil Beaver's coming off. I would imagine Paul Farber will be on for him. Well, he must need stitches. Beavers, he's gone straight off with the doctor. Alan Hunt will revert to full-back. Farber will have a go on the wing. He's fast enough, isn't he? Especially he's got a good centre with him, Gary Connolly. It doesn't matter. Well, Phil Ford and Paul Farber just exchanging pleasantries. You can have perhaps what you would call not a decent wingman or a recognised wingman, but if you've got a good centre, he can certainly create the openings and put you into space. We can remember when Meninga was here and Sean Day we had on the wing. Wasn't the greatest wingman that we've had here at Saints. He couldn't kick a ball though, but Meninga put him in for about 14 or 15 tries in the season. Gary Connolly, I'm sure if the need arose, could put Farber in for a couple this afternoon. It's Saints in possession. George Mann up the middle, inside to Dwyer. Now is Griffiths. Well, taken on suspicion was Rapati. Please, Adam, that's a professional foul, that is. But Saints have been awarded the penalty. Rapati coming through. Salford know that Rapati's the danger man. And Griffiths with the kick to touch. Finds touch 5 yards or 5 metres short of the 20-metre mark. Bernard Dwyer to restart. John Neal at pace comes through, brought down, taking the stuffing out of these Salford tacklers. Cooper now, looking sharp, hungry for action this afternoon. Shane Cooper. Dwyer, inside to Rapati. Farber takes it well, knocks it back, and Farber builds up a head of steam. Had a little bit of problem here at St Helens, did Paul Farber, once linked only a couple of weeks ago with Halifax, but all is okay. It's knocked back, it's still in possession. It's Sullivan, can he go in for his hat-trick? 15 metres short. Salford all offside on the referee's left. Kevin Ward looking to release. Well, he's lost possession. Arthur Bradshaw has it. Well, obviously a bone of contention, this like ball stealing. Well, Young loses it. Rapati now, he's going to be in. Oh, look at that. That is class rugby, isn't it? Rapati goes in and he is a class act, isn't he? There's no danger about that. He's running the rooster in the half-backs this afternoon. I think it was David Young that lost possession for Salford. It was quickly snapped up by the Saints, fed out to Tia Rapati, and he went through the Salford defence like a dose of salts. No problem. 30 points to 8. And Bernard Dwyer's conversion to come. £30 points to 8, and Dwyer, yes, right in the middle. £32 points to 8 now the score. Saints level it up in as far as the scoring in the second half is concerned. A try and a conversion to each side. 12 minutes of the second half gone, 32-8 the score. 6 tries from the Saints, 4 goals from Bernard Dwyer's trusty boot. Saints just hit by a little lapse maybe when Coleman scored, and after the referee waving the tackle count on, but the kick gone directly dead from the kick-off. It's a penalty on the centre spot. A chance for Saints. They could go for goal if they wanted, but I don't think they'll bother. They'll go for touch, I would imagine. Go for the yardage. John Griffith's going to kick over to the Popular side. Ten metres further forward. Griffiths finds touch. Bernard Dwyer will restart. John Neal, the customary first man in. He gains a further 10 metres, and it gives Saints an ideal platform to build up. They bring it blindside. Griffiths, Cooper, onto Kevin Ward. Saints will spread it out now. George Mann, oh, just held by the ankles, but he's still going. Play's waved on. Mann trying to release it, but he's finally clamped. Ian Blease comes over the top. Saints moving it blindside. It's Sonny Nicol putting a tremendous tackling stint in the first half, and Salford have another man down. Saints also have a man down, George Mann, but the ball knocked forward. Unlucky there, just touches John Griffith's fingertips. He can't control it. Knocks it forward. Scrum down now. Centre field, just outside the Salford 20 metre area. And the Salford look as though they're going to have to make another substitution. Looks like Cruikshank, I think, the standoff being brought over. Certainly doesn't look a fit man. And I think it's a blood bin substitute. Cruikshank. Salford have possession. Peter Williams, he's back on. Solid tackling just below us. There's Salford in possession. John Neal and Bernard Dwyer doing the stuff. These are the men that graft week in and week out. Well, they all graft, don't they? But as you said, we get the unsung heroes that are doing it. Mark Lee scampering away. Loose ball from Lee. The Saints have capitalised quite a lot on loose play from Salford. But excellent tackling on the far side. Jared McCracken wrestling his man to the ground. Coleman, chip kick, but directly into touch. Tried to float it, but couldn't get it right that time. It's on the sixth taddle. It's the turnover. Nicol plays it onto Dwyer, then to John Neal, and a lot of elbows going in there on John Neal. They're picked up there by referee Smith. David Young, Mark Lee, but as he goes, he's going to speak to David Young. What our counterparts on Sky would call a little facial, but certainly elbows going in there on Bernard Dwyer. Young is penalised. John Griffiths over to the main stand side here at Nosey Road. Finds touch inside the 20 metre mark, or 20 metre area. Now it's John Neal, carries it high, drives forward. Saints will build up now. Another 5 tackles to make it count. Phil Weaver's been attended to and looking to come back on as George Mann runs strongly. Been off the field 8 minutes as Weavers, he has got 15 minutes. Now it's Kevin Ward. This man revels in it, doesn't he? Being highly promoted for the Great Britain team for the World Cup final. Griffith, good ball to Rapati, out to McCracken, yes he's in. McCracken in for his second, and it's going to be a bit of a cakewalk, this, isn't it? 36 points to 8. Saints putting it together, champagne rugby, as we know they can. And Phil Weavers comes back on. Well, he's got stitches in the chin there, I think. Oh, it must have been the gum shield just hanging down, I do beg your pardon. Thought it had stitches in the chin. But I would imagine the way he went off quickly with the doctor, he has had some kind of stitching. But Chris Joint, Saints substitute forward. Obviously 2 substitute forwards on the bench, with Faber there. But Bernard Dwyer out wide, 36 points to 8. At present, we've had 17 minutes, nearly 18 minutes of the second half. And Saints putting together good style. Floated kick from Dwyer, but waved away. 36-8, the score remains. And Salford coming here, obviously said it last week, a good win over Halifax. But it's just how you play on the day. There's the last 3 matches for Saints. Wakefield, Barrow and Sheffield, they've been hard matches. But obviously the Saints coach, Mike McLennan, he doesn't underrate any opposition. He plays a team against a team. Excellent take by Cooper. He's done his homework this afternoon, and Salford are on the receiving end of the mighty Saints Kosh. George Mann pushes the defenders off. Dwyer and Beavers with her, and this is, we know George Mann can do it now with John Neal. On to Sonny Nicol. Well, Mark Lee going in again, certainly giving a bit out this afternoon. Ex-Saints forward is Mark Lee, but he's putting a lot into his tackling this afternoon. Salford up centre field. Well, a little bit of indifference going on in the centre with Sonny Nicol and Phil Ford. Is that what they call a little bit of black power? But they've sorted out the difference, and Salford passing the ball as if it was a hot potato. Arthur Bradshaw scampering away with it. Finally brought down by George Mann. Sixth and final tackle now. Coleman inside to Mark Lee. Chips it through. Cooper well positioned. Takes the tackle. Never looked anything on there for Salford. Mark Lee a little slow in getting back. Just impeding Phil Beavers a little. But referee Smith lets play go on. Nicol now coming through. Running strong this afternoon is Sonny Nicol. Halfway through the second half, the final 20 minutes to go. Kevin Ward, the man's rampant, isn't he? John Neal, and Saints powering it forward. Last tackle of this sequence. It's on with Cooper. Chips it over on the far side. Sullivan and McCracken are chasing. Burkitt wins the chase for the ball. Takes it well. Jason Critchley. He comes away with it. Referee Smith urging Saints to get onside. It's a pity he wasn't looking at Salford just minutes earlier. Lee turns it to the right. Good tackling again. Cooper and Nicol. Cooper rolls away. It's now with Mark Lee. Grubbers for touch and successfully finds it 10 metres short of the 20-metre line. Slowly but surely I'm getting used to this metre business. Saints will be back on the top of the Stones Bitter Championship table where they belong this afternoon. 36 points to 8 at present. Demolition of Salford with 19 minutes to go, and McCracken, well, a good tackle by Burgess. Stops him from going through there, but Saints on the road again. Rapati juggles with it. Still gets up, finally tackled by Williams. Griffiths, Beavers along the line. Saints are lining out for it, looking hungry. Mann shrugs off the tackles. Finally brought down a 3-man Salford tackling stint. But it's Cooper running out wide. Gives the dummy inside to Dwyer. Go, excellent ball to, I'm going to say excellent ball to Beavers. Well, I'm sure the player should have been allowed to go on there. He's given a knock on to Beavers. Perhaps it did, I didn't know whether Beavers had touched it. Must have gone off his hands, obviously, as the referee has indicated. But it looked a good pass, and Beavers there, he was on his way. Must have touched it, knocked it forward. Into the ball had come across field, and John Griffiths hacked it forward. Salford win possession from the scrum. They're just outside their own 20-metre area. 36-8 to score. And we're talking about 17 minutes remaining. Mark Lee. Still going forward is Mark Lee. Well, Jonathan Neal just brings him down. He's had a go at quite a few this afternoon as Mark Lee, but Salford keeping it moving. Bradshaw onto Stazika. Connolly brings him down, the ball's loose. A knock-on's going to be given. Stazika knocked on. He's not happy with it. Saints making a dual substitution now with Joint and Forber coming on for Nicol and Cooper. Saints win possession from the scrum. The substitution not been made yet. Phil Beavers from acting half-back. Loses his footing. Williams tidies him up, but it's Cooper again. He's run hard and strong this afternoon as Saints captain Shane Cooper. But he's being brought off, obviously, for a rest. Tactical ploy. Salford penalised for offside, and at the risk of sounding impartial, not before time either. A blood bin substitution for Salford as well. Oh, well, I beg your pardon, it's the blood bin substitution being replaced with David Cruikshank going back on for Andy Burgess. But Sonny Nicol and Shane Cooper come off, and Shane Cooper applauds the crowd. He's certainly done a good job, and Nicol's had a good tackling stint, a good hard running stint, but both the substitutions taking place there. In the 64th minute. Saints in possession, John Neal, back to Bernard Dwyer. Both of these prop forwards for the Saints, John Neal and Kevin Ward, have to be followed at all times. There they go again, Ward onto Beavers, looking for support, he couldn't release it. Griffiths was on his left, Griffiths has it now, it's with Rapati, out to Connolly, inside ball to Joint, his first touch. Wrestled to the ground, 8 yards or 8 metres short of the Salford line. Griffiths now, Saints bunched in the middle, but it's Rapati. Looks a class above his opposition, is Rapati. Now it's Forber. Last tackle of this sequence, it's going to be brought left, I would imagine. Dwyer onto Ward. Ward has to take the tackle, the turnover will be made. Alan Hunt, the full-back berth. Phil Beavers will be in the loose forward position, I would imagine. We've got Paul Forber, he's back on the wing. And Chris Joint in the pack. Salford have possession. They're making yardage. Wayne Reid moving upfield. Burkitt feeds it on. Salford just going through the motions. 14 minutes they have to endure this Saints onslaught. 36 points to 8 to score. An excellent kick from Salford, finding touch 5 metres short of the 20-metre mark. Scrum down, Salford feed. And Craig Coleman not been able to make his mark on this game as much as he'd like to do. He's been closed down. He did have scored a try, but he's not done much else. And Salford penalised offside at the play, at the scrum. Griffiths Bursting through, good ball to Alan Hunt, but excellent tackle by Phil Ford. Griffiths again. On to Jared McCracken. Drives it straight, yes, good ball to Farber. Farber wants to get up and play it quickly. Griffiths again, he's been everywhere this afternoon, Griffiths in this second half. Good ball for Connolly, well taken. Well, it's chipped through. He's hit the Salford man to bounce forward and then through his legs. Connolly tried a little astute Grubber. Tried to get past the Salford defence. Well, it looked like a decent ball from Cruikshank onto Ford, but he'd overrun him. Saints feed, and another chance now when Saints heel the ball. An ideal platform for them to build up again. Phil Beaver's there, just slipping in at loose forward, as I just said. Chris Joint in the second row. Saints with scrum, feed and possession. Connolly, excellent ball to Rapati, on to Alan Hunt. But Hunt tidied it up, but the ball knocked forward. An intricate bit of play there, just not coming off. Obviously a planned move. Hunt coming through. He just couldn't take it. Managed to get hold of the ball. At least it does give Saints, I should say, a 50-50 chance of getting scrum possession. But it's not very often it does go against the feed these days. 10 minutes remaining. Salford have possession, take it round the blind side. 5 scrums apiece, second half, I make it. And 4 penalties to Salford and 5 to the Saints. But Salford moving it out wide, excellent tackling there. McCracken comes in, pounds Ian Blease to the ground. I think it's Blease anyway. No, it wasn't. John Gilfillan it was, but Salford are spreading it. Wayne Reid couldn't take it, it's knocked forward. Saints have possession, and the referees allowed play to go on. Well, Rapati being mauled there by Coleman. He doesn't like it, but he's going to have to lump it, isn't he? George Mann into the defence. Saints moving it in field now. Ward running onto a good pass from Phil Beavers. Ward, well, he's injured there, is Kevin Ward. Took a knock in the back. He turns in agony. Grimaces there as he lost the ball. And Saints physio Jeanette Smith goes on, but well, he's up Wardy. Shakes his head. Looks as though Kevin Ward's going to be brought off. Sonny Nicol quickly out. Obviously Saints coach Mike McLennan. Well, nearly one against the head there, yes. Griffiths plays on. Salford have to knock the ball dead. Excellent play from John Griffiths. And that was from Saints coming in quickly with a Salford feed. Kevin Ward is being brought off, just as a precautionary measure, I would imagine. Rapturous applause from the popular side. Kevin will acknowledge that. I would imagine Saints coach Mike McLennan. He'd have seen Ward grimace in pain, and he doesn't want this star forward to take any undue pain. Brought him off straight away. Hunt takes it, feeds it onto Farber. 20-yard burst from Farber. Now it's Sullivan. No, Joint, I beg your pardon. I just saw the 5. Now with Connolly. Hanging off the tacklers. Chris Joint bursting through. Gary Connolly. Dwyer. Sees the gap, drives for it as Dwyer. He's under. No problem. Superb bit of play from the acting half-back position by Bernard Dwyer. Bernard Dwyer scampers in. Excellent bit of acting half-back play. And as Bernard, he's got to convert these tries, hasn't he? So he might as well make the job as easy as possible for himself. Scampered through the outpaced the Salford defence. He was all at 6s and 7s, certainly from the acting half-back. It looked as though Bernard Dwyer, the movement had broken down really. He was going to move one way, his way was obstructed, and then he decided to go on his own. The Salford defence opened up and Bernard Dwyer popped through. 8 minutes to go in the game, 42-8 it's going to be when Bernard pops it over. It'll be his 5th goal of the afternoon. There it goes. The score, and we've still plenty of time yet. Excellent performance this afternoon. Well, it looks as though Shane Cooper's going to have to come back on for John Neal. Saints' final substitution this will be. But Burkitt is allowed to kick off, and he's kicked it too deep again. The substitution will be allowed to take place now. Cooper coming on and John Neal coming off for a well-earned rest. Excellent competitor is John Neal. This big, unassuming Cumbrian forward. And as I was saying earlier on, he could have easily been playing in Salford's colours. He was supposed to be going on a loan period to Salford, and Saints, this is last season, Saints had a bit of a forward crisis, and he was recalled back into the Saints ranks, and he's never looked back since, has he? He's driving forward, he's going in hard, he's taking on the defence, and he's unloading the ball to boot. As I said, both of these props there, they're working really well in the driving and unloading department. 6 minutes remaining. Griffiths onto George Mann, running at pace. Support there from Sonny Nicol, looking rampant. And Saints on the charge again. Let's see if we can get the half century up this afternoon. Joint onto Rapati, inside to Joint again. Looking strong, this lad. He looks a fine acquisition in the Saints ranks. Come from Oldham. Had a quiet game last week at Sheffield. But Saints again, Griffiths into space, back past to Cooper, but it's down, the ball's gone to ground. Salford have possession. Thought the referee might have played advantage, but he's given the knock on, obviously. Scrum down with the Salford feed. And what an exhibition of rugby we've had this afternoon, there's no danger about that. Very limited space for us up here with the Sky cameras being here. I was fortunate to have Paul Laughlin with me last week. There's not enough room to get one of the players up this week, but we'd have been having a field there, wouldn't we? Saints get possession from the Salford loss, and a little bit of fisticuffs there on Sonny Nicol. The referee moves in quickly. It's going to be a penalty to the Saints. Nicol displeased. I think it's Arthur Bradshaw. Well, it's the Saints that have been penalised. Was Arthur Bradshaw involved? But I think he's done Sonny Nicol for retaliation. Salford have the penalty. Mark Lee ready to restart in the last 4 minutes. Stazika, he's driving upfield. Lee at dummy half, on to David Young. Beavers. Coleman with the reverse pass. Excellent tackling there. As Cruikshank is shoulder charged. But Ian Blease doesn't like it there. Sonny Nicol and Ian Blease just exchanging pleasantries. And it looks as though somebody's going to be spoken to. The touch judge is on. Saints captain Shane Cooper just going over to see the referee. A scrum down is given with the Saints feed. Well, pick the bones out of that. Your guess is as good as mine. Just as good as doing the pools, isn't it? Oh, Rapati! man, sheer class. From the scrum that Saints won, the ball fed out to the left, Rapati came onto it, and he's a tremendous turn of pace. We were talking to Steve O off Sky at half time, and he was saying it's a pity that there wasn't a standoff of Rapati's class in Great Britain to put up against the Aussies, because he's just head and shoulders above all the talent that's round. And it took the Saints public, we must remember, it took the Saints public a hell of a lot of time to warm to this fella Rapati. He came here with a knee injury. He only played 19 minutes in his first game in the replay against Dewsbury of the Regal Trophy. That was at Wakefield. He went home, he had surgery, he came back, and after an injury there, and I suppose if you get a few people on your back, and his confidence was down a bit, but he bounced back, and he's some class act, isn't he, Rapati? 48-8, and we're in the last couple of minutes. Dwyer converts that Rapati try. Superb display of rugby this afternoon, and after, as I said, 3 matches which the Saints can't play, or didn't play as well as we know they can, but you can only play as well as the opposition has let you. Unfortunately, my good lady Chris has to work this afternoon. She will be disappointed, especially when she is the scorer, but at least I suppose we have the added advantage of watching it on Sky tonight, because when she does watch the video, especially with me doing it, she always turns the sound off. Well, that's it, all on that. Knocked back by Salford. Unfortunately, Saints couldn't capitalise on it. Coleman for Salford. Out to Phil Ford. Quickly wrapped up. Not been able to get in the swing of things today as Phil Ford. Excellent wingman on his day, but I suppose the Salford team are an excellent team on the day, but this is just not their day, and that's all there is to it, isn't it? 48-8 the score. An absolute thrashing of the Salford outfit this afternoon, but provided Saints come through unscathed on Wednesday in the Lancashire Cup second round, and as I said, we entertained Salford here a week later in the semi-final. They won't be undaunted. That's another game, and it's just how you shape on the day. Sixth and final tackle of this sequence, possibly the last passage of play in the game. Coleman chips it through, well, that man's offside, and the referee lets it go on, and you penalised Hunt before for an earlier infringement, which was a hell of a lot clearer. But the kick going through, well, there's the final hooter. The Saints public rise to the favourites. A superb display of free-flowing rugby this afternoon. Saints coming through with a tremendous 48-8 win. Tries 2 each from Sullivan, Hunt, McCracken and Rapati. Bernard Dwyer with an excellent individual try. 8 minutes from time. 6 Bernard Dwyer goals, and that's the final score, 48-8. As I've said, it's Lancashire Cup action here at Nosey Road on Wednesday evening against Widnes. Then we're away to Wakefield next Sunday, and hopefully, all being well, home here again the following Wednesday to Salford again. And we'll just give them another lesson in free-flowing rugby. But the final score here from Nosey Road as the crowds drift off after applauding their favourites. Saints 48, Salford 8. Thanks once again for joining us. You've been with your Saints video team. My name's Ron Hoof. You've been with your cameraman Peter Tush this afternoon. Also today's match day mascots, Kelly Louise Molesdale, 7 years old. She'll be pleased with that. Gary Connolly didn't get on the score sheet this afternoon, but he's played well. He's back after that ankle injury, back quicker than expected, but a great performance. So 48-8 to score. Join us Wednesday.